You've come to the right place, traveler.
Alright lads, welcome back to the channel. Cursedboy here with another League Starter guide for Season 3, and this time around we have Warlock Witchfire. I've League started with this one in the previous season. We had an absolute blast and a lot of people enjoyed the build as well. It's just a very fast eco farmer, generally speaking. It's one of the best blasters when it comes to farming echoes really fast, very efficient, and killing everything. So you're farming a lot of favor, you're farming a lot of memory amber, etc, etc. I'm definitely gonna be doing Witchfire at some point this season as well, but for the time being, I knew that with the acolyte changes we would get a lot of different things on this build as well. And yeah, we got so many changes that I need to cook up a whole new different planner, but I think I come up with actually a much better setup as well. So one of the problems of the build is basically defense, right? Mainly the stun avoidance is not coming through for us in the build, and that was basically one of the main weaknesses that I could not find a solution last season because it didn't exist. Now my gear is pretty good on this character. As you see, we have over 8,000 ward. On the new setup, you're gonna have over 10,000 ward fairly easy actually, without crazy 3 or 4 LP items or anything like that, because of the new primordial body armor that we're gonna talk. Now, I wanna show you how the build plays, of course, a little bit here. It's basically very easily with the downfall of the righteous, right? It makes you so when you have both ignited and overload, you are basically applying a Witchfire, which is a necrotic and fire damage over time debuff, and the broad of our damage, right? So whenever you are having enemies around you with a certain amount of ignites and down, if you are casting a fire or necrotic spell respectively, you will be getting your overload over for 12 seconds, right? Which means that after a couple of hits with Chaos Bolt, you're getting both of them, right? Because it's both necrotic and fire tagged. Same with Chthonic Fissure. And then you just run around. This is the Witchfire that you are applying onto your enemies. And other than that, during your echoes, you just Chthonic Fissure here and there, and then you are just running around with extremely high speed as well. For the single target on this particular version we are using Infernal Saint, but on the next version I'm moving away from it. So for the time being, I will show you what I will be doing in the planner. So we're gonna be using Hungering Souls for the extra damage here, and I explain exactly how that's gonna work. But when it comes to the bosses, Chthonic Fissure, Hungering Souls, then we are Chaos Bolt here, and you are applying the Profane Veil curses and debuff as well, because it gives us more damage here. Okay, the single target on this build, of course, it's not amazing, but I still found every single Guven Echo, every single boss in the game, apart of Uber Aberoth, fairly easy. It's a very efficient clearing build. You're getting your favor, your memory amber, everything like that, very fast. Let's get into the planners and check out the new setup for Season 3. Actually, because before we do that, I want to talk about a little bit about leveling. So when it comes to leveling, nothing changes from the previous season. I'm gonna have the leveling guide down below for you so that you can check it out. And the leveling early on, you want to get some weapon, wand or scepter with minus mana cost, so that it helps your mana cost. Red Blood will be much better now in the first 30 levels. Once you become a Warlock, you get your Chthonic Fissure, so everything is basically straightforward after that. Chthonic Fissure is one of the best leveling spells in the entire game, right? Other than that, early on you will be starting as a life build, and then you will be transitioning to the low life build with the new primordial body armor, or you can do Exangus and last step like we have right now. But yeah, both of them are really good. Of course, the end game planner will require you to get the new primordial body armor, which is not very hard because it's from a vendor. And another thing that I want to add here, I will also provide you with the Warlock-Build starter filter that I have created here. So basically this is a variation of my universal filter, and if you need to know how to customize this filter and use it for the high-end game as well, you can do that. I'm gonna link below my filter guide video, but other than that, this loot filter will be for you available, and it just has some nice rules, extra rules for during the campaign, what kinds of things you will be focusing. I have set up the fraction, the Saturn rule here, so that you can get your affix shards early on for the things that you want to craft on your first pieces of gear when you are live. And I also have highlighted some of the uniques that you want to be aiming for, and some early game uniques that if you drop them during the campaign, you're gonna have a good time. Now the best item during the campaign, of course, is Fire Starter Torch, without the legendary affixes, of course, but yeah, it's just the best item during the campaign. If you find it, if you find it on a nemesis, do not even empower it, just grab it straight away as fast as possible. It's basically gonna make your campaign feel like a joke, even on League Starter, even without any gear. Other than that, let's get into the planner, and yeah, let's move forward. Alright, this is the new planner that we have created here for Witchfire for this season, and it looks really good. Now, I wanna talk about a little bit of what do you do when you are low life, and a couple of differences. Nothing too major. You just don't take those 5 points here with the missing health, and you don't take as well the reblood conversion here into the ward. You just want the life, and on the Chaos Bolt, you don't go for these nodes right here, and you are taking those nodes over here. So basically, it's very easy to grab life sustain and mana sustain when you are in life version of the build with those nodes here with the reblood, and yeah, just straight up, you're gonna have a little bit of a hybrid build there, some life, some ward, and everything is gonna be completely fine. When it comes to the later stages of your progression, though, you can do that after the first few monoliths. In Blood, Frost, and Death, you can farm Last Steps of the Living, the boots, and Hexagons, the body armor. Now, of course, I don't have them here because we are gonna be swapping into this. Now, Architects of the Astral Blood, it is basically the new thing for low life. It has some really interesting text, and I'm gonna explain everything that is happening here. So, apart from the current drain health loss that we are getting here, the 20%, it has missing health gain as ward, and it has very high amount of that, as you can see, 36 to 42%. The Hexagons has 20, for example, right? So this one basically allows you to have only this word, this item for low life builds, and nothing else. No missing health on Last Steps of the Living, no missing health on your gloves. This one is just straight up fantastic already. You also get percent of your maximum health gained as ward decay threshold. So we're gonna be scaling a lot of life, as you can see here. So our ward decay threshold is gonna be extremely high. You cannot see that on the calculation here because the calculations are not perfect right now in Last Epoch tools. There needs to be more updates before the new items are incorporated, right? So another very important part here is maximum health applied as ward limit. So basically this item is giving you so many bones for low life, but in order for this to not get out of hand, ESG has this new modifier that we have never had in the game before, and your maximum health is also applying a maximum ward limit, which means that with 200 lower roll here, right, with this amount of health, you're gonna be able to have almost 9,000 ward, right? This is why the last line here, this roll here, it's very important to get it very high. Now, on another note, we do get a little bit of health, stun avoidance, and all attributes, which they're all very good. Keep in mind, these new primordial uniques, for the most part, they have fairly high effective level for regimen potential. This in particular has only 70, which is fairly good because 2 LP is what we want, and it should be fairly easy to get as well with, you know, Nemesis, Farsight, Turtle, all the cycle that we are doing with through the Woven Echoes to farm our uniques. Once you have this item, you will want to get as much health as possible onto your build. The tier 7 with 1 OP, the tier 7 applied dumped on hit is the most important part. The life can come later on. As you can see here on the maximum here, I'm going over 5,000 hit points, and I'm gonna show you how do we achieve that. When it comes to our relic, downfall of the righteous, you want health and indulgences here. Indulgences is not mandatory. You can go cast it. If you want to use a red ring, which is definitely not mandatory, you go for indulgences. We are very tight on attributes. We are barely capping our red ring here. So you want good attributes. We're gonna be swapping some things. You can swap some things on the passive tree if you need a couple of extra attributes for red ring of Atlantia. This is gonna give us a good amount of resistances and the less damage multiplier, of course. I'm using Ashes of Mortality here just as a buffer. This is something that I would like to test in game in the next season to see if this actually gonna be valuable or not for the ward generation. The reason I'm saying this because once again we do have ward limit, right? So when your ward limit is about 11,000 ward and you already have like 10,500 ward, this will not give you a lot of boost, right? But when you're taking hits from bosses, stuff like that, and your ward is going quite low, then this is where it's gonna provide you basically a lot of recovery. There are other rings that you could go for. You can go with the usual Cursedboy that we are doing with the red ring. This will provide you a lot of attributes, and you're gonna have no issues to actually get your attributes going. But yeah. Ashes of Mortality is definitely a good option right there, and of course you can still go with a very good Exalted ring. If you get something crazy, double Exalted ring and stuff like that, you can definitely use that one. This is definitely not mandatory. When it comes to the offhand, we want Oculate Focus here, 100%, ward retention, very important. Intelligence, very high roll on the implicit. Please remember that. Again, if you want to use red ring, and of course cast speed, damage over time, elemental resistance, and void resistances. I have everything that you need to know here because those are gonna be capping our resistances. Pearls of the Swine, you want this red color here, the physical one, for Decrepify, and whenever you are casting Bone Curse, which will be cast through your Profane Veil, you will be also casting Decrepify on your enemies, which makes them take 15% more damage over time. So it's a very nice boost to our damage, our single target. It also has some really good stats, extra attributes, extra all resistances as well, very good. And physical resistance is the most important part on the rolls. On the implicit, necrotic resistance doesn't matter, we're capping that very easily. Now, for this particular version, I chose to go with Advent of the Erased, and this is where I'm starting to covering a lot of the defensive issues that we had last season, right? So one of them, I talked about it, was the stun avoidance, right? Stun avoidance here. So stun avoidance formula, for those that they don't know, uses the maximum hit points and your current ward. Which means that this time around, it's not like 3,000 and 3,000 life and 8,000 ward or something like that. You're gonna have 4.6, 4.7k life very easily, and another 10,000 ward. So the stun avoidance that you will be getting, it will be a lot higher than what we had right now in the game, right? So one of the issues, they're a little bit solved, at least to a much better degree. The other issue is damage over time. We got massive damage over time with the possessed modifiers and the new champions and stuff like that, and I expect the Rift Beast to also bring even more into the game. So, because with this build we are having haste from the Warlock tree, I thought to myself, another layer for less damage over time taken. This is 35% less damage over time taken while you have haste. So make sure that you have this very well rolled on your boots. Another thing is intelligence and movement speed are very easy to get, especially like tier 7, tier 6. You can even get tier 7, tier 7. I've done it plenty of times to know that it's not very hard to get it, and you can imprint this and you can farm a whole bunch of them. You get the Weaver tree right here. These nodes over here will give you much better Weaver's Wheel on your uniques, so you can use the Rune of Reweaving afterwards to get them instantly and see what affixes you are getting. And when it comes to our other set here, we are using Isadora set this time around. I was thinking about it last season, I didn't end up using it, but this time around I want to use it mainly because our mana is a little bit tighter this time around, and the mana efficiency for necrotic spells is actually very strong, especially for Chthonic Fissure. We also get more damage on hit with necrotic spells, which is very strong indeed, and a little bit of penetration with damage. Now these are 3 pieces: gloves, belt, and helmet, and they are just suffixes that you want to seal tier 1. We don't care about the suffixes themselves, we only care about the set bonuses. When it comes to the belt, you want as much life, you want mana regen and cleanse here, very straightforward. When it comes to the helmet and the body armor, as explained, you want a chance to apply damage on hit, and other than that, intelligence and life. The base of the helmet doesn't really matter, but just find a base with good armor, flat armor, and not witch hat, for example, right? So yeah, that's the only requirement for your helmet. When it comes to the gloves here, I want to talk about the melee leads, the melee damage leads health that we have on the fire starter stores and on the gloves, and that's because of this node over here with the hollow leads. We are converting the health leads. First of all, this one is changed this season, so your health leads that you have will drain basically life on an enemy around you. I'm not sure how good that is, I don't expect it to be good, but the main issue that we want leads is this node over here, which was actually nerfed and changed. So this one provides us 6% increased damage per 1% leads, and it is generic increased damage. And I'm pointing out that it's generic increased damage because Downfall of the Righteous wants to have a lot of curse damage, so that you are getting more damage multiplier onto your Witchfire. And the generic damage from the leads is not only boosting the fire and necrotic parts of Witchfire along with your ignite and your damage, but also increases the more multiplier that you're getting out of your relic, right? And other than that, when it comes to the gloves here, intelligence and as much life as possible is what you want. Fire starter stores, it's the absolute beast on this build. Now, I love you all very much. I don't want to hear about Zenathia's mace for the curse damage. It's not good enough. You need to fix your mana in those builds, because Warlock does not have minus mana cost on its spells, and because we don't get any massive mana regen or anything like that. So the minus mana cost here is just what you want. All our spells are fire spells, so we are taking -4 here and another -3. And there is a good chance you might actually need to swap those and go for tier 7 spell damage minus cost and tier 5 leads, right? So this is something that we need to test in the new season. I cannot say for certain if this is gonna be good enough. If you want, just swap them, take a tier 7 minus mana cost, and you're good to go. Blind is very important on this item as well, because blind will give us our crit avoidance basically. And other than that, ignite, because these scales are Witchfire. I think this is about it for the gear here. So let's check out the passives and see the differences and what changed the season. Now, the main thing about the main Acolyte passives here is that we are getting missing health gained as ward here. So it's really fantastic, as you can imagine. On the leads, we need to invest a little bit of more passives. So our tree is getting even tighter on points. I've changed my tree like 10 times before I end up on those. So we are grabbing a little bit of intelligence. Again, this is more for the red ring. If you are not planning on using red ring at all, you can actually max this one out for the increased damage from the leads. Other than that, we want the Abode and the Hollow leads. And of course, Dance with the Death. This is for when you go into low life. Same with this node. Those two nodes you only take when you go into low life, and then you also shut down your leads. So these are only when you're going into low life. I want to be very clear about that. Now, into the Warlock, nothing changed in the first part here. I'm also adding this one. I used it the previous season. So basically this one, every 3 seconds, will be giving you 13 mana back because we always hit enemies with curses. That they are cursed. So yeah, a little bit of mana regen as well, and we are changing things over here. I'm not taking this less damage here. It is a little bit more inconsistent, and as I said, the passes are very tight, but we are getting better defenses out of everything else, which is completely fine then. We do get the less damage taken from Withered here, and 1 point here to unquiz our enemies as an extra curse for the more damage multiplier for bosses. That's where this is important. A couple of points here on the haste, and these are the Witchfire nodes, right? Ignite overload, Damped overload, and this is what gives us our Witchfire here, and of course the more damage multiplier. So when you are leveling, you need to get into those points very fast. 5 here, 5 here, 5 here, and 5 here. Now, the reason why we want Ignite and Damped on hit on our build is basically because it gives our Witchfire massive more damage multipliers. These end up to being like 3.5k more damage multiplier or something like that with our setup. So it's a very important one, and this is why we want our gear setup to include Damped and Fire and Ignite Suns, right? When it comes to another passive here, Vessel of Chaos, it's an extra more 6% more damage over time multiplier because we have 2 overloads and a little bit of increase. That's it about the passive tree. Now let's see what changes here. And the first big change that you probably noticed is that we don't have Harvest. As I said, we are going into Hanging Souls, which changes a little bit how we play into a single target. Basically, you need to cast Hanging Souls every 8 seconds. Once every 8 seconds. That's what you're gonna be doing, because then we are converting into Ignite, and we are making this buff instead of being applied for possessed enemies, but it's gonna be applied for Ignite, for Spreading Flames enemies, excuse me. So Spreading Flame, we get it from the fire starter stores. So all of the enemies that we are hitting are having Spreading Flames. That means that we are getting 40% more damage over time against them. So this is another massive more damage multiplier that we did not have last season because we were using Harvest for our mana sustain with the spirit drains, but those are gone now. The 20% more movement speed that we were getting, that's also gone. We cannot have nice things, so we are changing our setup. The reason I am actually converting into Fire, this will only give you 1 big soul and not the typical projectiles, is because I want this to be applied when the enemy is afflicted with Spreading Flames and not Possess. Possess has 1.5 second duration, so you need to be applying this all the time. We cannot do that on the build. We want to spam our Chaos Bolt. So we are going for Ignite, for the conversions here to make things easier. And other than that, we are also getting it to be 0 mana cost. It's not gonna show here, but with the -8 and the Fire Star Stores, it's gonna be 0 mana cost. So no problem on your mana there. Now, Chthonic Fissure. I also changed a little bit of how Chthonic Fissure works, based on my previous season experience, right? So usually I'm traveling down here to go into the thread and then into Spirit Frequency. I'm changing this into Fellfire because this will spread the ignites. So when we are using the downfall of the Righteous Relic and not the Soulfire Relic, right? The problem sometimes is that we get a little bit inconsistency when it comes to the ignite stacks on our enemies, because we get less ignite, and we do not have our overloads being consistently at the same duration. We usually grab Damped overload first and then ignite. That bothered me. It was not a big deal, don't get me wrong, and never an issue on bosses, but during echoes I want consistency. I want this build to blast echoes, so with this spread we will have a little bit more consistency and fix this issue as well. Spirit frequency, very important here. And other than that, proc Chaos Bolt, the big feature here. You take this after you have at least your fire started stores, because this will increase your mana. And whenever you are casting a feature, after a few seconds, you will also around rare enemy or boss, this will also refund your mana cost from the previous one. So yeah, make sure that you're doing that. And take advantage of the refund so that your mana is sustainable. A little bit of necrotic and fire stacks here. Those will be capped out at 10 stacks on bosses, no problem. Chaos Bolt, fairly easy and same setup as in the previous season. I do take Harvest here, mainly because it's just extra hits for extra ignites, extra dams and stuff like that. It is not important. This skill point here can go away and use it on the cast pit here if you want that. Do not grab those when you are swapping into low life. You cannot have life sustain on them. Another positive here for this new planner is that the DOT per 20 missing health for Chaos Bolt, the more damage over time here, it's gonna be massive. Again, we are gaining another like 70% more damage multiplier for this just on average rolls because of our life, right? So a lot of good things are happening with this new item that are combining for a good build. Now, Reblood, another skill that has been changed. I expect Reblood to have a much better ward generation this time around as well, mainly because now it hits in a line, and any enemy that it hits, it's actually giving you back blood orbs that originally heal you, but with the conversion here, they grant you intelligence. And we are getting extra, generation from intelligence as well. Now, they changed how blood splatter works. It's kind of garbage right now. I don't like it. I went away from it. And we are changing a little bit, a few things on Reblood here. And that mainly is the bleed chance here, because it's converted into damage. That with Isadoras, as I said, will increase our damage. We are getting 40% more damage over time here, and another 60% more damage here. So our Reblood will be doing a lot more damage than it did previously. We are not getting any more damage multipliers or any extra, damage on the Reblood. So it's gonna help us a little bit with our single target this time around. And our clear as well, of course. As I said, it hits more enemies, so it's gonna be better for clear, not that we need it. Profane Veil, fairly standard, just like I build it every time. We want the penance, it's an extra curse. We want the element cleanse. We want to apply mark for death on our enemies, and also bone curse. We are taking the secondary area, and we want bone curse. Now, when it comes to bosses in the secondary area, because it's only one enemy on your screen, when you're gonna profane veil away from him, and the secondary area will go towards the boss, and it will, cast penance and a bone curse on it, so you don't need to be on top of it. Of course, the more damage multiplier while you are in Profane Veil, and that's why on our rotation you wanna pump everything into the boss first, get a few ignites and damned stacks, and then you are popping your Profane Veil, and you need to hold it for the entire duration because you are getting more damage over time, more damage out. Of course, armor applies to DOT while you're in Profane Veil. That's the only thing that can damage you there. No hits can come around as long as they are dodgeable. Like the Jura Big Blast is not dodgeable, so you cannot Profane Veil out of it. That's about the skills. A small change on our idols. Now, when it comes to the idols, of course, the add-on 2x2 damage over time while you have an ailment overload is very, very good. It's the maximum, the highest increased damage you can get. We want life on the suffixes. That's very important. Life on the suffixes and word K threshold word per second on the enchantments, right? If you noticed on my slams here, we are using life pretty much everywhere we can, and tier 7 life, so that we can boost our maximum health for the word limit through the new body armor. Another thing here is this Weaver Idol, increase life and frailty, very good. We don't have frailty. I usually get it on a slam on my Downfall of the Righteous, but I want the intelligence this time around for a lot of various reasons, boost my damage more, so I'm going with those. And of course, increased health on the prefix. You can also get elemental resistances on the suffixes here if you have any trouble with your elemental resistances, or cold or lightning respectively. The small ones are actually fairly important. You want the increased armor out of those and the flat armor. This armor is gonna be over 3000 very easily, and you're gonna be getting a fair amount of mitigation out of those as well. Life and mana, or life and regen on the suffix if you can. But those are going to be a little bit tougher. The prefix is the most important part to get first. When it comes to blessings, we want Ignite on Sheet. As I said, this boosts a lot of different things. All resistances, armor, and mana here. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, I want to show you here a little bit the word calculations I've put in. And as you can see, this is like our word K threshold we are getting from the body armor. And it can go a little bit higher, but yeah, this is about it. And as you can see here, we're like 4.7k life and 360 word retention, which is not the maximum roll, of course. With just the body armor, you will be getting 11k word. Now, again, this is going to be capped from the maximum health, so boost your health, get your word retention into like 320 to 360, and you're gonna be generating this word, this amount of word just from this item, which is absolutely magnificent. It frees our boot slot to instead of Last Steps of the Living, we can use Advent of the Erased. You can actually use whatever other boots you want. I chose that. I said why I chose that. But yeah, like if you want, you can use other boots as well. And of course, we don't need to go into that stupid Rune Prison Complex to craft missing health on this pair of gloves, because that was one of the hardest crafts I have ever done in Last Epoch last season. I've bricked so many pair of gloves until I got mine. So yeah, it's just in a bad spot right now when it comes to the experimental affixes on gear. So that saves us time on gear as well. Alright, other than that, I hope you enjoyed this League Starter. If you have any questions, do let them in the comments below. Hit the likes and subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I was talking to you for so much. Thank you very much, guys, for being here. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Enjoy your League Start. Bye bye.